intelligence and your intrapersonal ability. We look at your social intelligence, which is your interpersonal ability. We look at your mind-body link. You know, to what degree do you have the energy to actually sustain performance? And then your mental intelligences, the things like, you know, the way you think, particularly attitude to creativity and positive lateral type thinking. So the academy itself has been designed to actually reflect that. In the spiritual area, this part, with the ambient lighting, is really for our spiritual meditations, our yogic training. The emotional and social, we've got the lecture room, and also on the mental side, we've got the lecture rooms upstairs, which, you know, by the way, please feel free to look around once we've finished. And the physical side, we've got this area as well, which combines as the gym, where we use combat sport, boxing. We also use football. We've been doing it now for around 20 years in one form or another. But generally, we've been going out to clients. We take them through team building, leadership sessions, but we've been doing it on site. What we try to do is bring it all closer to home so that we can actually do it here. In fact, in 25 years, we've done 2 days worth of work in Nottingham. So it's a new opening. It's a new opening for us, really. If we look at the different elements, like I said, the spiritual character in terms of your attitudes, values, and beliefs. How do we actually develop those? One of the things through mentoring, through coaching, through one-to-one work, we try to help you understand what your priorities are. We don't try to impose our values and beliefs on people. What we try to do is get people to unlock the values and beliefs that they actually have within themselves. On the interpersonal areas, how do we create the self-awareness? How do we create that self-observation so that you can actually produce those interpersonal abilities? Intuition, gut feel. Gut feel is very important. How do we improve the quality of your gut feel? Experience plays a big part, but also sort of like exposure to different situations. And then decisiveness, because it's all over good having a gut feel. How do we now turn it into action? How do we take a decision and sustain that decision? On the social intelligence aspect, our interpersonal skills. Key part here is creating that empathy, so that we can look at the other person and we can see what's the right thing to say to get the result and the outcome that we're actually after. On the physical side, the energy that we're trying to create to help the decision making. Over the 20-odd years, one of the things we've observed when we looked at the top business leaders is that very rarely will you find an unhealthy top business leader. You know, they have certain attributes, they have a certain energy. And we're not saying, you know, they're sort of like Olympic athletes, but what they are, they possess an energy inside them that sort of like drives them forward. I used to think that the whole idea of having a balanced life was that, you know, you spend half your time at home, half your time at work. For me, that works. For a lot of people, it isn't. For a lot of people, a balanced life is actually spending 90% of time at work and 10% at home, because they just have different priorities. What we try to do is find out what works for you, as opposed to trying to impose one particular style. And then on the mental intelligence side, how do we create a positive outlook? If you look at all the things that Gary was talking about, that positivity is the first step to moving forward. If you don't think you can do something, forget it, you're not going to do it. It's like when we consult with businesses, most businesses turn around and say, 5% growth next year. Well, that's good, but the most they're going to achieve is 5%. You turn to someone and say 100% growth, they have to think differently. And if they only achieve half of that, have they really failed? You know, if you achieve 50% growth. But you've got to have the belief that you can do it. And that inner belief is where the power comes. That's really what the advantage is. When we first opened the building a month ago, I tried to put down what is it that we're actually selling. And I believe what we're selling is inspiration. We're selling inspiration for people to want to change. Because once people are in control of their own destiny to change, they can take it, they can make it happen. Who do we help become winners? Who's our marketplace? Well, firstly, we want to take kids through the whole experience of leadership development. We want to take the youth through leadership development. There's a difference. When you're younger, there are certain elements of confidence that you need to build. As you get older, you need to become more decisive. How do we build that decision-making processes? We're looking at families. one of the things that we're quite interested in, that we offer, something that we call the Family Gap. And it's basically a program which effectively brings families together for a family bonding session. We look at sort of like, you know, the parent's perspective, the child's perspective, and try to swap roles. But by creating that sort of like family bonding, we can start seeing where those differences lie. At the end of the day, we don't try to make our lives difficult with our children, or vice versa, but it does happen. Oops. Athletes, sportsmen, you know, we're looking at the psychological benefits and the psychological advantages that working with people like Gary can actually bring. When you've performed at that highest level in front of 100,000 people and another 400 million watching on the telly, that's pressure. You know, for most people, that's going to be far beyond anything they're going to have to face. What we're trying to do is say, how do we actually, if we put that position, how will we actually cope with that? Then, we've got our businessmen, people who actually want to succeed in business life. Unfortunately, with this, you can't switch it off when you go to work and switch it off when you come home. You know, we are a holistic people. You know, the way we behave at home and the way we behave at work, there is a relationship between the two. What we're trying to do is say, how do we create a better person that if you are a better person, you can actually perform far more superior, to a far more superior standard within the workplace. And then your business teams. How do we put these teams together to actually perform and deliver results? And the interaction and all those 5 elements come together to make that happen. These are some of the elements, for example, on the combat sport and boxing that we try to work through to help develop the better leadership capabilities. Ego is a big one. Gary talked a lot about ego and the role of ego in terms of leadership development. Humility comes up. There's nothing to make you more humble than someone smacking you in the face. Not that we get people smacking you in the face, but you can put yourself under different pressures. You know, you can impose more physical restraints. You can put some limiting factors. You can challenge how far you're going. You can put yourself outside your comfort zone. Then you get someone to bring you back in your comfort zone and learn about how you can actually do something about it. So we've got a number of different components which are structured around the whole development of a leader using physical activity. And what is it that we actually offer? Well, we've got workshops and programs for the individual and for groups based around lifestyle, i.e. what you do at home, and also within the workplace. And as you can see from there, we've got workshops, coaching, mentoring, leadership for kids, youth leadership programs, personal development programs. On the lifestyle side, family bonding and team development within sort of like football teams and any other kind of sporting teams. Within the workplace, coaching and mentoring programs, business strategy programs based around strategy and leadership. And then on the group side, consultancy and accredited programs. We actually have a program which we call the Professional Certificate in Leadership, which is accredited by the University of Nottingham, and it gives you credits towards an MBA. So we've tried to create a whole range of programs where we can take the youngest through leadership development right the way up to the oldest. Leadership, it may be leading people, but we have to start by leading ourselves first. The Academy is designed really to do that, and you know, we would welcome yourselves in terms of participation and also in terms of any other relationship that you'd like to get into. So that really is what the Elite Performance Academy of BMC Global Services Limited is. Any questions? Good, well, thank you very much. Like I said, please feel free to walk around, have a look upstairs at the facility and whatnot. We've got sandwiches and drinks, and there's no rush to go, except for Gary. Thank you very much, Gary, as well for your time.